David. David.
He's falling in a beautiful swirling pattern.
David.
What is up, everyone? My name is David Wells, and this is the David Wells Experiment. So I'm gonna go to my brother's place and walk his dog for about 15 or so minutes. Gosh, it's so bright. Wonder what kind of movie I should make when I finally get to making one. Jeez, man. It'll be nice to see Apollo. He hasn't seen me in a second. I didn't visit him nearly as much as I wanted to when my brother went on his vacation to Greece. Speaking of Greece, I found out they're making a third My Big Fat Greek Wedding movie, which I'm like, okay, this is happening. I kind of didn't anticipate them making a second one, let alone a third one. But then again, I also didn't anticipate them making... Oh, shoot. I kind of didn't anticipate them making as many Land Before Time movies as they did. It's the funniest thing. I remember when they made the first sequel, I got way too hyped up on that as a kid. Like, I remember walking out of the video store and just glancing at, like, a letterboard or something they had, and there was a poster for Land Before Time 2, and I'm like, what? They're making another one? Because first Land Before Time movie is great. I can say that even if you take away the veil of nostalgia from it, it's a great movie. I remember it's a short movie too by today's standards. I think it's only like 70 minutes or maybe even an hour. And I remember there was some rumor that like 20 minutes worth of scenes were deleted from the movie because they were too graphic for a G-rated film and that they wanted to avoid a PG rating. I can't help but feel that that's just a myth. That I think that if there were any deleted scenes, I don't think that they were fully animated. Because 20 minutes for an animated film feels like a lot. And when you do see deleted scenes for animated movies, usually they're like partially done or they're pencil tests, and it doesn't feel like they ever get to being fully animated, and then it's like, okay, we're just going to drop this. I think The Black Cauldron was one of the few exceptions. That was when Michael Eisner and I think I forget the dude, he runs DreamWorks, Jeffrey Katzenberg, when they took over Disney. But anyway, I remember I find out there's a Land Before Time 2, and I get super hyped about it, and I don't see any trailers or anything for it, because it was like a masterfully done film, the first one. So I'm like, we gotta rent Land Before Time 2 as soon as it comes out. So it comes out, we get it, and in the first couple minutes, I'm like, something seems different. And I'm like, okay, they've got a narrator like they do the first one, the voice actors sound relatively the same. Although I found out that the voice actress for Ducky, she had died, I think, prior to the first film's release, or just shortly after, which is a shame. And there was singing in this one, which was weird. It's like, oh, there was no singing whatsoever in the first one. I mean, they had a closing song in the end credits, but it wasn't like the characters themselves singing. I'm like, huh. I mean, I was young enough that I sort of didn't hate on the music too much, but it just did feel irregular. And also, I noticed that the animation did not look as good as I remember it looking. And I think I even watched the first one afterwards. I'm like, yeah, it feels like not as polished a job. And I think I even, like, I didn't exactly articulate it to my dad, but I said some things enough that is like, you kind of noticed that, didn't you? That they didn't do as much with this one as they did with the first one. And I'm like, yeah. And I think I kind of put it together when, like, wait a minute, I remember something sort of happening when they made Return of Jafar. Like, because I didn't remember seeing that in theaters. And I noticed that it looked different from the first movie. And so it's sort of, I had this epiphany of like, okay, these direct-to-video made movies, they don't usually have the same love and polish as the first ones. Kind of the exception would be Lion King 1.5. Although that one was sort of successfully hit its budget constraints, and it very cleverly would use footage from like the first Lion King to make up for that, so they didn't have to draw anything that they already did. But it wasn't nearly so obvious as like other direct-to-video sequels. But I just remember thinking like, having this feeling to myself of like, somebody thinks that I'm too stupid to notice the difference. They made a presumption about me, and I do remember feeling kind of upset about that. And yeah, even back then, I'm like, I had the opinion that like I can tell when something is good and when something isn't. But I guess it's not like that huge of a deal. So anyway, what was I talking about? Land Before Time 2. How did I get to that? Oh, speaking of twos, like, I remember, there's that Family Channel, and there's a made-for-TV sequel to Titanic. And it's like, how does that work? Like, do they raise the shit? I never even heard of it. And maybe it's not even an actual sequel, but they only have like stick the name Titanic 2 on it. But I just remember thinking like, I'm trying to walk through the logic of how this story could be possible, and it's like, do they build another ship and call it the Titanic, and does that one also sink? And I'm just like, I don't know, it didn't work. What's funny is, I remember hearing through the grapevine from my friends in the neighborhood that they saw Titanic 2, and that it actually had some cool action scenes in it. Supposedly, I'm remembering something from 20 years ago, but I remember somebody saying like, oh yeah, there's actually a scene with a Russian guy in a bazooka. It was pretty neat. And like, oh. But honestly, a sequel to Titanic feels like something that that movie studio, The Asylum, would do. And yeah, I kind of wonder what Hollywood is going to do while this strike goes on. Like, so it's writers and actors united together to express their disdain for the status quo. And I know when the pandemic happened, one of the ways they tried to revive or maintain the movie industry was they re-released older movies, and some of them did surprisingly well. We'll see that again, because I think I even remember seeing. I bet you we'll see that again, because I think I even remember seeing. Shoot, I parked weird. But anyway, I remember seeing a couple weeks ago that Disney was re-releasing some of its older movies. So who knows how that'll go. I mean, they're just remaking old movies as it is, it seems. Well, anyway, this has been the David Wells Experiment. I'm your host, David Wells. Love all of you, and I hope all your dreams come true. Have an absolutely super day. Bye.